Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We hope you all enjoyed those incredible classic barrel clips during the intermission. Uh, we're joined again by, or not again, for the first time, by.
Hello, I'm Ali.
Yeah, that was your cue.
Yeah,
You nailed it,
Yeah.
let's go. And I'm Stennis.
yeah.
We got
So
Ali and Stennis.
yeah, so this is going to be all bosses no DLC, or as we like to call it, old bosses, which is pretty much just old patch all bosses. So we'll be able to use stuff like Binary Boost and Parry Walk and OP hexes and all that.
All the good stuff.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just get straight into it. So I guess I'll give a countdown. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, so besides the glitches, of course, there's a lot of other stuff that were changed a little bit through the patches of DS2. One big thing being nerfing the hexes. So hexes on old patches are really strong. And you don't really need that many levels to get them strong. It scales with both int and faith, but it's sort of a hard cap around 30. So that allows us to get pretty good damage really early, especially great resonant soul and stuff like what's the one called you get from all the dungeons? I forget, but that one's also insanely strong, but takes way too long to get.
You mean scraps? That's sculpture.
No. Climax, yes, that's right. Where Pseudo got caught by the mod filter there. Thank you. We don't use those words here, Pseudo. Didn't you get the idea here? I didn't forget. No, I was just saving my words here. But yeah, so hexes will be a big part of this, and especially with the 30% damage boost from a ring we'll get later.
Yeah, so I actually just did an animation cancel off the ledge at the start there, which saves like a quarter of a second or something.
Yeah, it's really small with life gem. It's much more significant if you use
nice baby
coin,
jump.
but it's still like less than a second probably.
So yeah, here's the
Nice.
Binary Boost.
Now we go wee.
Not sure
So
what's
yeah,
happening with my frame rate.
Binary boosting is not something we really understand quite why it works, but every time you attack and look through the binders at the same time, you get a huge increase to the animation speed of the running animation, which lasts about 3 seconds. Why it happens, we don't know. We'll have to ask Tanimura, because surely he programmed this on his own, as every good thing in this game. But yeah, it's kind of tight on the timing to get like the best speed, but it's very easy to at least get some speed boost. And there's the first parry walk. Another big glitch that was previously only possible to do in old patch until like, what is it now, like 2 years ago? Just under, for the discovery of party walking. But in old patch, there is no time limit. And as you see here, you're also able to jump while in parry walk. Where Ali now is abusing another sort of side effect of that. If you squeeze yourself onto the ground, you'll immediately cancel the jump before you start falling. And by stacking jumps, you can then increase your effective height.
Yeah, so that was branch skip. So normally you have to get a branch of yore in order to get to this area, but because we have parry walk, we can just get you right at the start.
Actual decent branch skip in a marathon, can you believe it?
Yeah, now time for the first tricky part of the run.
No! Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Surely no backstabs.
Yeah, surely not. So yeah, you can just get killed by the ghosts here, and there's nothing you can do if they decide not to play nice.
Is this Sorcerer route? Yes, it is. So Sorcerer is... I mean, there's two main reasons why we choose Sorcerer. One minor thing is you get the dagger right away, which is better to parry with than fists if you were to choose Cleric. Cleric and Sorcerer are the two classes with the highest faith or intelligence for the levels you need for hexes, but a benefit of Sorcerer is he also starts with Soul Arrow. Soul Arrow is a very good... yeah, it's good. Soul Arrow is a very good, well, it's actually a faster backup soul by the first lizard, but
That's fine.
is it worse? Oh yeah, that one's bigger. I didn't think about that. Yeah, but yeah, Soul Arrow gives you 30 casts, which combined with attunement glitch is very good for not having to use more herbs than necessary.
Yeah.
You can also get Soul Arrow from Malentia, but yeah, it's good to just start with.
Oh, nice frame rate.
Yeah, holy, see an FPS there.
That's actually never happened before, literally. That's actually true, by the way. Yeah. So now we're gonna actually make our way to the first actual boss we're gonna take out, which is Dragon Rider.
Yes, very difficult boss.
Yeah, easily the hardest boss in the game.
Especially now that we have a very bad weapon, so Ollie's gonna have to fight Dragon Rider with just a dagger. So we'll see how this goes.
Also, first soul dupe of the run. So in this game, you drop items, consumables that don't have a confirmation box. You can go back into the menu and drop them. And that will dupe the item for you. But that's old patch only, sadly.
Yeah, so the requirement is just that you have to drop the item before the animation gets to the point where it actually consumes it. So the slower the item animation is, the easier a dupe is to do. So human effigies, for example, are very easy to dupe. And I'm not quite sure why, but you're not able to stack dupe souls, whereas meaning that if you have two souls on top of each other, and even if you just try to use one, you cannot drop the stack and dupe the souls. You can do that with effigies though. Oh,
Dude.
fuck up the jump. Oh,
Yeah, I have no idea what's
19 FPS jump. Let's go.
I actually have no idea what's going on with my frame rate today. It's never happened before, but
just making it more exciting here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All about excitement.
Yes. So we know that she just wants to have a little swim here. While she's out swimming, she can't bring her chime, of course, that's made of metal, so it'll sink to the bottom. So she'll leave her chime up here, so we can borrow that while she's out for a swim.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's also since the sorcerer doesn't start with a chime, but the Irish chime is also pretty good, like starting chime in terms of damage. It's unfortunately very slow though. But the main thing there is that we also get the key used to turn the rotunda room later for going to cops.
So, can do 2 more dupes here.
Yeah, so one unfortunate routing effect of this for getting like the levels very early. One thing we really want to get is, I believe it was 20 int, or is it 21 int you want before Drown Age?
It's 20 int, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a bit more than you need just to cast Great Resonance Soul, but it will let you one-shot a lot of the Royal Soldiers, making the run through a lot easier and also make some of the boss fights faster. Unfortunately, for doing that, it's kind of tight on souls, so we need to dupe at like any opportunity. Normally, in some routes where you don't fight, like for example Guardian Dragon or Ancient Dragon, you would just go to the area early, still, because that's a requirement for beating the game, and grab a 20k soul there. It's not really worth the time spent that you do for skipping Guardian Dragon in this case. So we end up just using the 5k souls, duping them a lot more instead of getting a 20k soul early.
Just gonna rest here. So Holo follow me?
Yeah, it's like extremely common for a Holo to follow you into this room when you're bino boosting. It's a bit more hit and miss, I guess, in current patch categories where you're not going so fast, but it's like almost always he follows you here.
Forgot to equip the bombs. But yeah, here's Bomb Wall, the old patch version.
Yeah. It's actually really nice with bino boost, because you can just throw it basically wherever and it explodes. Okay.
This might not work. Probably won't work, but that's okay
Just don't.
though.
Okay, don't
Right.
punch the bonfire.
Yeah.
It might work.
That's fine. We can kill Pursuer later. We can just dupe twice
Okay.
here. It's not
Yeah.
a,
So
not
that's a bit of
not that big of a
souls.
deal.
Yeah,
I
you
can just dupe
lose.
here.
How much is it?
I'll
You
just dupe
lose
twice.
12k? No.
Oh,
Oh, you only lose like 9k.
yeah.
8k. I mean.
Okay. Nice frame rate, making me miss the dupe, but that's okay because we got the backup.
Yep. So yeah, luckily this on an old version of this route, this would be a lot worse when you use the mace in the early game, because then you also would want the ring from Pursuer. Right now, it doesn't really matter much. It's just something you do for a little bit extra souls, and it doesn't really cost you much time compared to going there later. But yeah, the run back to Pursuer will lose probably like half a minute later on. No, wait, actually, no, it's not too bad because you go through on the way to Bastille. But yeah, more dupes, and we're still not done with dupes. There's a lot
Yeah,
more to go.
we're going to be duping for a lot of the run.
Yeah, at least at the point when you get to Dragon Lake, it's not as crucial anymore. The more dupes you fail at that point, the less health you will have for the end game. Health is not super crucial for the most part. There are some drops, etc., where you can get a bit unlucky, especially on the way to Dark Lurker. But yeah, most of the dupes beyond that point are for comfort and not for speed or damage.
Time for the second parry walk.
Easy.
Yeah.
So that is probably the least useful parry walk in the entire game. I think it saves like 5 seconds or something if you get it first try. But
Do you want to
do it for the
explain
flair.
the tune glitch,
Yeah,
Dennis?
so what Ali just did there is what we call a attunement glitch. It was scored quite a few years ago. I don't remember was it Lich who found it? Might have been. Was at least one of the early ones to do it. But what it essentially does, it allows you to apply the amount of casts of another spell to the one you currently have attuned. Tunglish was Flow. Oh, insane. Salute Flow. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, with flow.
But yeah, so the way it works is basically by switching this spell you have attuned exactly as the loading screen starts. So fades to black and it goes into the loading screen. You apply this amount of casts of the spell you switch to. And the cool thing is, like, even if you start attuning more spells, the game doesn't realize what is done wrong. So if you were to attune another set of soul arrows, you would now have 64 Great Resonant Souls instead.
Hey gamers.
Hello?
If after this boss you want to take a brief pause to investigate your frame rate issues,
Yeah,
we can
that would,
pause the timer
that
for
would,
you.
That would be appreciated.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm going to heal here.
Yeah, so this is one of the... So even though you have pretty good damage at this point with Great Resonant Soul, it's really not a good weapon or good spell for this fight. A much better option would be if we had scraps or we're using a decent melee weapon, but we have not been down to the Gulch yet, so it's not really an option. And going there early is not really worth it overdoing this first. Because we want to grab Soul piece on the way, which is after this boss fight.
Right. So Jeff, do you want to do the FPS check thing now?
You can start the bridge, and while we wait, we can do the...
Yeah.
Can do. Alright, I'll pause the timer and send us to an intermission.
Right.
3. And we're back. Sorry for the brief intermission. Hopefully everything will be smooth sailing from now on. Are you okay for me to resume the
Surely.
timer, Ali?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
So. Yeah. So you
Play
guys.
that. So off you go.
Yeah. So you guys didn't miss much. We just killed Skelly Lords. Now I'm gonna do these 2 dupes that I had to do before, but forgot to.
Holy 4 slot duping. Absolute madman.
And I think these are the last 2 dupes you have to do, right, Stennis?
Yeah, like absolutely required. It's not great if you miss like later ones because there's a lot of dupes we get for free in the Dragon League segment. But these are like the ones you really need to get the levels you need. Fortunately, we're still like a little bit of a frame drop there. Hopefully, it's not too bad, so we can still. As long as it's not in like a very bad timing, I'm still fine. Like during the Dark Viper fight or something, that would be more sketchy.
Well, and now that's obviously going to happen.
Whoops. But yeah, so what I got there was Solar Piece. Solar Piece is a very good spell for the Rats fight specifically. One thing I've tried to do in other routes of this in the past, back when I was a young man and I could still hold the record in this. Now it's taken by Nubist, who's older than me, but yeah, still. Age diff. But yeah, the Solar Piece insta-kills the rats. Scraps would have been a good alternative, but Scraps just knocks them to the ground and they don't take damage while they're knocked down. So that doesn't work, especially on the main rats. You have to wait for him to get back up and then hit him again like 3 times or something, so Scraps is really useless in that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems to be when stuff is loading, maybe. So yeah, this fight is pretty simple usually. We do have like a setup for basically where to go, where to do the cast, etc. But sometimes some rats just kind of misbehave, and they don't always get hit by the Solar Piece like you just saw there. Or just barely got it in time. One more rat that still survived for absolutely no reason, but hey, that's DS2 for you. If someone tells you something in DS2 is consistent, you can tell them you know better. Nothing in DS2 is consistent.
Absolutely nothing.
Not even character creation is consistent. Sometimes the keyboard just doesn't work. So
That is true. Now time for baby jump area.
yeah, so luckily we use Sudo's Bitcoin miner to reduce the amount of baby jumps. But there are some cases you can still get them, especially, but they are not just randomly caused by CPU load or something like that. That's when you have maybe touch a wall or a rock or something, or you didn't sprint for far enough before jumping. Yeah, this area is pretty sketchy to go through with Binary Boost, but with some practice you'll find sort of areas where you can start and stop the Binary Boost to have a decent amount of control. But if you want to do a run through like this, I would usually also grab that bonfire in the marathon because it doesn't take much, especially with the lags all you are having. If you get one of those right as you turn, it's really bad because all your movements are super exaggerated during Binary Boost. I, for one, have definitely experienced with. So you can use stuff like if you have shader compilation issues in Dark Souls 2, one really bad spot is entering shaded ruins, where you usually Binary Boost up and there's like a slim pathway. If you get a lag there, you just run straight off the cliff. And same thing in Gutter, for sure.
Yeah, we just grabbed the second main hex we're going to use and run, which is Scraps, which Dennis has mentioned a few times.
Yep. Scraps of Life is very useful because it's yeah, has a lot of hits. It's a multi-hit attack. Oh, that was a beautiful jump. Perfect. But yeah, so it's multi-hit. It's kind of a slow cast, but you also crouch very low when doing it, which has its uses later on. Very wide area of effect, very good on bosses that are either very large or have a lot of adds in them. Like the Skeletors fight would be also a Rats fight later on. Giants doing
Yes,
a
we
little
just
intimidating crouch walk they have. Am I going to attack? Oh, is it going? But yeah, those giants have some really wonky hitboxes. Even though you're like half a mile away, sometimes those attacks still hit you. So you really have to respect the distance.
yeah. So it's the second Gandalf we're going to talk to. We're going to talk to the third one in Drain
Yeah.
Lake, which is where we're going to get this the ring that Stennis mentioned later, which will
Yeah,
increase our
that's
hex
a big
damage.
reason why we also Ali went. It's not only because of the soul, the 5k soul that Ali went to the Shader Runes early. We also want to make sure that we have the Gandalf in Drangleic Castle as the last one, because wherever you talk to him the third time, he will open the dungeon for free. And the one in Drangleic Castle allows us to go straight to the Dark Liquor boss fight.
Yeah. So this
Beautiful
is
firework here.
a version of Shrine Scoop. So obviously, normally you have to get all the old souls to get into Drain Lake, but this is old patch, so we don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, that one's a really annoying parry walk to fail, because those bodyguards come to his rescue right away and really don't want to let you do another one. A real run killer in any percent, not as bad in this, because there's more meat on the bone if you want to go for a record. But it's a big time loss if you fail that parry walk once. Probably at least 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ali killed that lizard there because it has some really good like late game upgrade materials. It drops a slab and 3 chunks. We have not been upgrading the chime yet. This one upgrades with twinkling, but Ali will soon be picking up a better chime that upgrades with normal materials. So that's why you get those materials early. Why did he survive there?
I have no idea. I have 20 int, so I shouldn't have.
Yeah, he should have died. That's strange. Oh, negative stamina. Yeah, because you missed.
Yeah.
Right.
See, these are the last dupes of the 5k soul that we're going to be doing.
Yep.
Because we're going to get a bigger soul, 10k soul in Drain Lake.
Yeah, you can GRS the bodyguards in this category, which is better than with the Dragon Tooth, but I would usually just YOLO it and try to parry walk them when they're approaching, and like if you manage to do that, you only lose like 5 seconds compared to like 10-15 if you do a safe version. Yeah, I remember like when I started running this, I don't think we even realized that negative stamina affected casts, so
I don't think
back then.
I think I realized it, but I always forget about it.
Yeah. It also makes the cast slightly slower.
That's good to know. So now that we've spoken to Gandalf 3 times, he's going to ask us if we want to join his Lord of the Rings fan club. We're of course going to say yes, and he's going to give us a nice ring as a symbol of our entry in it. So yeah, this ring increases your hex damage by 20% at the cost of taking a bit of your health every time you cast. So it's a nice trade-off.
Yeah, it's about 30 HP, I think, per cast.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't take any damage, you can spend all the casts you have, even with attunement glitch, and not die from it. So it's well worth the trade-off for being as much of a damage increase as RDSR, but with way less risk involved. And no need to do setups either to get into the RDSR range.
Yeah.
Do you pick up? Yeah, I guess you do pick up RDSR for a couple bosses, or do you do
You
that
can.
Pathfinder?
You can, but I won't be doing that.
Yeah, so that's something you can do for like slight optimization on some bosses, especially like the ones you practically never get hit by, like Ancient Dragon. But there's only very few bosses that you actually set up fast enough for it to be worth it. So having this ring that's usable for all bosses without any setups is a lot better.
So that's Dragon Riders. And now time for one of the hardest parts of the run, in my opinion, which is the Mirror Knight segment. Certainly a nemesis of mine in this category.
Yeah, not made easier by this variation of the skip, which was found like very shortly after we discovered ladder warping,
Yeah.
which
So
we'll be seeing shortly.
I'm sure you'd love to explain it for us, Dennis. What's
Yeah,
about to happen?
so ladder warping is a side effect of parry walking, where if we're going to get into the details here, parry walking will sort of keep track of your character in two different states. One is your state that sort of hits the collision of items around you, etc. Another is the position where you interact with items, etc. And my theory is that these two positions are to interpolate the animations for your character, have smooth transitions into levers and ladders and stuff, etc.
Oh my
But
god.
in parry walk, that second position gets detached. Yeah, and this guy is horrible to parry, so take some time here. But by effect of those two positions being detached, when we grab the ladder, you snap into the second position. So what Ollie will be doing here is, I'll let him show you before I explain it further. But first of all, just grabbing some height here to go back to the ladder we started from. He'll walk into the wall and turn around just enough to activate the ladder here, and that snaps him into the position he ran to, even though the wall would have blocked him. And this is because the ladder, as soon as you grab the ladder, your collision just stops being in effect, and you just snap through the wall.
Oh, by the way, this next boss is loud, just so you guys know.
So crank that volume, guys.
Yeah.
For the true Dark Souls 2 experience. I just realized I have not been having audio on here. Let's crank that. I'll do the compressor as well.
Here we go.
Beautiful.
Oh, that was actually a really nice fight.
Yeah, actually pretty good.
That was probably
actually,
one of the fights I was most nervous for, so I'm happy it went that well.
Yeah, it can be pretty scary. It's also possible to do quote-unquote consistent knight. Go back to like nothing actually being consistent, but it's way harder with hexes, and especially this chime, because at a very close distance, the chime can fizzle, meaning that it just hits the ground or something behind you, or just hits the enemy, but it's too close, so it doesn't do any damage. But that's one thing you can do, much harder than just fighting him like Ollie did there, and rarely faster if you manage to do it.
Yeah. It's now time for Amana. If you watched the last Scholar run, you'll know that in that game, or in that run, Amana's pretty bad, but in Old Patch, Amana's actually one of the more chill areas, actually. At least in the way we're going to do it.
Yeah, we used to do it more similar to how it's being done in current patch, which is still easier because you get faster to the fog gate. But by parry walking one of the sorcerers coming up here, you can skip through the by far the worst part of Amana and get straight to the boss fight, which is very nice. And even skip the boss fight if you're running a different category that doesn't require you to kill all the bosses.
Like all achievements, for example?
Yeah, and now with power working, I think you have enough time also to go all the way past that fog gate potentially in current patch as well. So
yeah, you can skip it in current patch too.
Yeah. So in current patch, you have the restriction of always having 30 seconds timer before the party walk ends. Makes it a bit more limiting, especially for the longer skips. Yeah, that party walk is actually a bit harder to do than some because you're in the water, so your roll is very short. So very clean there. But yeah, so what Ollie's doing there, you see that hole in the wall behind, that is the entry for the Demon of Song boss fight. Yeah, and the no binder boost also greatly limits the range you can reach with current patch party walking. Yeah, there's only a very few skips I think you would not be able to do with 30 seconds timer and binders. Because besides the timer, you're also not able to traverse into longer than the next area in the queue. So to load the next area, you require its collision to load first. And in order for the collision of the next area to load, you have to touch the collision of the previous area, which will deload the enemy of the area started in. So you can't like chain this forever without doing new parry walks.
And so these are the last dupes of the run we're going to do.
Yeah, actual last dupes this time. Ollie already has enough to manage, technically. But these elevators, there's nothing else to do here. We do have a 10k soul that we can use as many times as we like. So that does make for more comfort levels for the end of the run.
So only one failed dupe in the run, and that was because of an FPS drop, so not bad.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, like duping is not terribly hard once you get a hang of it. But it's only one mispress, one lag spike, one whatever, and it's failed. So usually in a marathon setting, sometimes in runs as well if they're long enough, I will definitely grab like an extra soul if it's not too far out of the way. Yeah, do a 7-slot dupe.
I did a fifth slot dupe once.
Yeah, I've done the hardest I've done is a 6-slot dupe. I think at the point where you're at 7th slot, you can just go in from the other side, and it's like 4 slots or 5 slots. So, but yeah, it greatly depends on how much ADP you have, etc., because that will increase the animation speed of using an item. So, base level is definitely the way to go for that.
So now we're going to be fighting
the old school strats here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten pretty.
I only know old school strats in this category. Sadly.
Right, so Wellstart. Wellstart is pretty satisfying, honestly, to play in this category because you get to just parry him a bunch. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily give you the fastest fight if you parry all his attacks, but it's something you get very comfortable with after fighting in a while. The only thing you will strafe is this attack usually, the stab attack. And now that he's standing still for the buff part, Scraps is a good option, because all of them should hit, not always.
Oh, nice! Insane.
Oh, that was a horrible lag spike.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. At least we're not too far away, but he does have to do the skip to get back here.
Just gonna use this effigy. I guess I'll just dupe this soul just in case. Alright.
Yeah, you can parry the poke. Well, you can parry it, but it doesn't deflect it. You just get like a partial, right? Yeah, what Nubis said. So you won't take any damage, but he won't be staggered. And besides, you can. I mean, Ali didn't do it there because the timing is tighter. If you're standing too close to him, he can do the very quick swing after. But if you're standing in a good spot, you can also hit him twice after the poke. So it's really not a bad attack to get. Yeah, so the reason Ali also did a dupe there before, even though we said we were done with duping, is that GRS consumes 500 souls every time you cast it. And if you do not have enough souls, it won't do the full damage. If you have no souls, it does almost no damage. So that's a very unfortunate super early buff here. Once Velsad buffs, it takes like half. Well, I guess it's exactly half damage. from everything, which makes this a lot slower. And he also does more damage, so a lot scarier too. It will be a one shot if he gets hit by anything, especially after losing health to the ring.
Alright. Oh, almost jinxed myself there.
Ooh, that was close. He almost got that one. It's kind of funny that one hit, honestly, because sometimes an enemy will just slowly walk to the side and GRS just won't hit them. It does not track whatsoever.
Well, luckily that's the hardest part of the run done, which is the first part of the run.
Well, besides the one boss I already jinxed a while ago, but
well, we'll get to that when the time comes, Dennis.
Yep.
But for the most part, I think the hardest part of the run is pretty much over, other than Dark Lurker.
Yeah, this is now we're through the part where you have like no health, no comfort levels to speak of at all, and we'll be increasing the damage. A while back we used to get our levels before the Dragon Lake segment because those fights are some of the harder in the category. But it's slightly faster to just do them with like no levels first, and then do one trip to Majula after.
So yeah, we're gonna get our chime up to +10. And I think at +10, it's the best chime in the game, right?
Yeah. Basically, you can for hexes, yes. You can also dark enchant it to make it slightly better, but yeah, it's the best one because of its high cast speed. But it cannot do anything besides hexes.
Yeah. So now that we've just got our last levels and got our weapon up to +10, the rest of the run is basically going to be just a boss rush or clean up, pretty much. And so that's where the Artisar is. And as Dennis mentioned, you can pick it up and use it for a couple of bosses. But I haven't practiced the Artisar fight, so I'm not going to do that. But it is something you can do.
Yeah, one thing you have to be careful of if you do. So one setup, for example, for RTSR, if you want to use it on like the only like really fast ones would be to do it on Guardian Dragon, Ancient Dragon, and on
Covetous.
Rune Sentinels.
Really? Damn.
Yeah, I suppose Covetous as well. No, I guess he doesn't have a setup. The other ones have setups for HP. The problem is for Rune Sentinels, you have to keep that HP for a little while. And also for Ancient Dragon, you have to set the RTSR up before Guardian Dragon, use a life gem after to get your health high enough that you'll fall back down into RTSR during the Ancient Dragon fight. Otherwise, the dragon will kill you.
Yeah, the Ancient Dragon setup's pretty funny. Just casting scraps like 10 times on the elevator.
Yeah, you cast scraps on the elevator to reduce your health just low enough. Yeah, there are other bosses we would sometimes use RTSR for, such as Wendrick. But from my testing, it hardly ever saved time unless you have like the perfect setup from one of the soldiers before him. And then it's just like 1 second, so there's really no bother.
So yeah, nice. That's Guardian Dragon. Pretty hard fight, as you can see.
Stop him that time.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky.
Gotta try harder, Tanimura. Yeah, you got a headshot in there, which is very nice. If you get no headshots, I think you need 1 extra cast, but otherwise it's pretty good.
Yeah, and one thing you might have noticed about this game is that Tanimura really loves long elevators. There's loads of them.
Yep. This is a nice and long elevator, good little resting spot for a long run. Grab some drink, hydrate.
Yeah. I guess the one after Miffa, I guess, would be the longest, right?
Yep, that one. They're pretty close. I'm not sure which is longer, but yeah, those are by far the longest ones. There are 2 other long elevators towards Amana and the crypts, but we duped for the entirety of those. So
So yeah, we just spoke to the Emerald Herald to get the feather, which is basically just a homeward bone that you can use an infinite number of times. And we need that because we need souls that are on us pretty much at all points during the run in order to use hexes. And so we can't afford to just dark sign out of all the fights, so we just get the feather so we can keep our souls.
Yeah, so even done Ali's done all his levels at this point, yeah, we need to keep souls for duress damage. You don't need much for any given fight, probably around like 10-15k is enough for even the longest fights. But yeah, popping souls before fights just to get the damage back would take way too much time. So that feather is well worth the time.
Yeah, and it takes like only like a few seconds to get,
Yeah,
so
it's
it's
really
definitely
not
worth
long.
it.
So yeah, Ali follows the railing here because that confuses the hammer dude to go investigate where the sound came from. Oh wait, that was not right. Where did my emote go? So yeah, this is another boss fight where Scraps, yeah, I just can't see the emotes. This is another fight where Scraps comes in very handy. So Ancient Dragon has these long attacks in between if you get lucky and you don't catch light. Where he's standing completely still, and his foot is pretty big target. So you see this is pretty huge damage coming out from hexes.
Fly up, let's go.
Let's go. Wouldn't be a marathon without it. So luckily with binder boosting, even if you get like a super low flight, you can always get away in time, suppose you didn't start an extra cast. But without it, it would be very scary.
Yeah. And that's Ancient Dragon.
There we go. One flight's still not too bad. If you go really unlucky, you get like 3 flights.
So now it's time for my other nemesis in this category, which is Chariot. It's a pretty, at least for me, it's a pretty monka segment.
Yeah, it is a scary fight for sure. It's a very it's an execution heavy fight. If you do have your binary boost pretty tight and you do the same pathing every time, it's usually not too bad. But yeah, any misstep in a binary boost timing or in just not hitting your scraps after positioning yourself wrong will mean there's a lot of stuff that can hit you.
Yeah, so this is the quote-unquote new parry walk.
Yeah, quote unquote new, like 3-4 years old at this point probably.
It still feels new though, so might as well still call it new.
That's a good thing about these categories that almost no one run. Every tech in the last like 5 years is new tech. So yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, so that's now Ali will just have to do an extra cycle here.
As long as I don't fail this roll, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Alright.
There you go. Yeah, so one thing here is that one of the binary boosts, you have to time that as a dodge for the chariot itself. And you also need to extend your binary boost long enough that you reach the lever in time. It's actually very tight to get it in the quote-unquote one cycle.
This is kind of concerning.
Ooh, okay.
I'm just gonna heal. That's probably
the
best idea.
It's the best idea here to heal, because even if you were to go like just try to kill him here, he can do the dark breath thing that hits you from like a mile away. That one, yeah, good example, Ali. Thank you for showing up.
Yeah. Alright, well, we killed him, even if it was a bit rough.
Yeah, all done.
Now we're gonna go do Covetous.
Now we're talking a hard fight. This one is so scary. But yeah, like in seriousness, like the bosses that are probably the scariest in this category, at least for me. I mean, I guess Belstad's probably one of them as well for you, Ali. But definitely like Chariot, Mytha, Dark Lurker. A lot of the bosses that you can kill them pretty fast if you're really like, if you're going for it, but they can often kill you back in one hit. So you do have to manage the risks still.
Time for another hard fight.
Yep.
Wish me luck, guys.
First try? Question mark. Oh no, he's coming.
Oh, that was close.
Oh
If
my
he
god!
had, if he had decided to attack there, I would have been done for.
Yeah, if he hit you, you would have lost so much health. Oh my god, you would have had to heal later.
Alright. Here, coming up is another legit scary fight. Just Mytha. It's a fight that I really despise in old patch with Hexes. But hopefully, yeah, hopefully it will be okay.
Yeah. So the scary part about this is obviously doing it with the poison still there.
Yeah.
Holy Ollie, not even grabbing the bonfire. What a giga chat.
I did grab the bonfire, didn't I?
Not the oh yeah, okay, I guess you grab the Jabba one. I usually skip the Jabba one and grab the others if I want to be actually safe. But yeah, so this fight is there's multiple different ways you can do it. I sometimes do like an even riskier strat, but just because there's not as much variance, it's like a 50-50. But if you play it extra safe with a Radiant Life Gem at the start, which you actually were a bit high HP to use, I think, so it's not in effect anymore. A lot simpler. Ooh, okay. There, like, if he was a bit later on that cast, she does a double poke there, and he might have actually been dead. So, pretty close.
Time for the longest elevator in the game.
But yeah, there's another strat you can do there where we run straight up to her and do scraps immediately. If she just jumps backwards, then the fight is pretty bad at that point. But if she stays, you can get a tail cut, which is really fast.
Yeah, I actually did that strat in my PB, and it actually worked perfectly.
Was it still in effect? It looked like he was losing more HP suddenly. Guess I am just lying. On stream. Caught in 720p. Yeah, so this area is also pretty fun, especially with Bino Boost. Luckily, it's not as many enemies here as in Scholar. Bless Tanimura's original vision for the game. But these guys can actually follow your Bino Boost tempo.
Yeah, they can.
Yes, the stream is 1080p, but he's playing at 720, I think.
Yeah.
I have
no baby.
information.
Okay. No baby jump.
Let's go. Yeah, so especially that jump. If one of the guys are chasing you at Bino Boost speed, they can just poke you as soon as you jump.
I remember once I didn't grab the bonfire and I died to a baby jump.
Yeah, that's so
it was so demoralizing. It's the worst thing to happen.
Yeah, there is baby jump for a patch for old mad. Baby jump mod for old patch. Holy, my words are all over the place. But that was only like a year ago or something when we fixed it for old patch. So we had a long while where we just took those deaths in this category.
Like one. Hello.
Alright, so clean parry hook there. If that guy doesn't give you the right attack, it can be pretty awkward. Yeah,
do you want to explain why we? Do you want to explain why we got that keys, Dennis?
So that's a small optimization that was on a few years back. We had a different parry walk to do here that was usually like a little bit faster, but grabbing that key along the way allows us to do another entrance to Last Giant, which now probably doesn't matter as much since you have to go to Brazier anyways, but yeah, it changes up the pathing, so we just go into the Last Giant fight from the back.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that's the fizzle I mentioned before. So on very tall bosses, if the angle is so high up, your spells with most chimes, especially this one, will start behind you, and the spell actually fizzles on the ground behind him.
Yep, so now we're going to go do Last Giant, which we're going to kill very quickly because we're coming here with things
Yeah, a
that you
lot of
normally
damage.
wouldn't. Yeah, stats and items you normally wouldn't have when you come to fight him, usually. So he's going to go down pretty quick.
Oh, fireball coming in. Nice.
Right.
So blink and you'll miss this fight. Sadly not a one shot, but we'll take what we can get.
Now we're going to go fight Stronger Giant.
The last
What?
giant. Oh, we're just
What
fighting
did I
too
do?
far away.
Ah, nice baby jump.
Let's go.
Well, that's what the baby jump looks like if you haven't seen it before.
Those are the jumps we know and love. A little bit extra like passion to the game.
Yeah, you can actually bind a boost up here instead of doing the back step, but
Yeah,
I'm always too
it's a little bit
nervous to do
scary
that.
to get used to. Yeah, you have to stop like right at the right time because otherwise you just go straight over the ledge. Yeah, it's a giant lord. A number of the fights where it's just pretty fast with hexes. Does allow you also to fight him up here. In recent times, I kind of don't really prefer this anymore. If you have enough damage like you do here, you can kill him before he does anything. If you're slightly slower with cast damage, maybe some different route that just goes there earlier, it's better to fight him on ground. But the spacing means he has only one attack he can do, and that's too slow to hit you before you kill him. If you get the boulder damage.
So yeah, now we're going to be going to the giant memories to get the giant souls for when we fight Vendrick, because without them, it'd be pretty much impossible to kill him with the stats we have. So we do end up getting all 5 giant souls.
You would have to do spell restores during the fight, and it would be really slow as well. So
yeah, in the really ancient route, you used to actually farm the giants to get the last 2 souls, but we just go for the memories and newer routes. Not sure if that's actually faster or not.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, the optimal way so it would be to go from the giant lord memory if you're grabbing both, but yeah, he doesn't have pursuer yet, so we still have to kill him.
Oh, I almost forgot about Pursuer, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, also doing the pursuer skip is can be a bit of an RNG fiesta. Sometimes the giant just kills all the enemies, so you can parry walk immediately. So
I guess I'll just kill him with hexes.
yeah.
Why not?
Actually fighting pursuer, insane Giga Chat.
Oh,
Never been
nice
seen before in a
visuals.
speedrun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably the first time I've killed Pursuer legit in a speedrun before.
The only
But,
category where you actually do fight Pursuer, quote unquote, normally still use hexes, so it's pretty fast, is RBO, where it's faster to fight him on the platform because you kill him before you kill Last Giant.
Oh yeah, you fight him during the very first encounter.
I mean, we could do Pursue Quick Kill there as well, I suppose, but it's not much faster. It might even be slower, and it's way riskier because you get one shot. Or one chance at doing it, not actually die.
So yeah, one nice thing about going for the giant memories is that the entrance to Bastille is right here, so we can just go and do the Bastille bosses while we're here.
Yeah, the order here might seem a bit strange. We don't really follow the normal pathing in this area at all, because it's just faster to skip straight to gargoyles than going through sentinels and going through the Belfry Tower. So you can pretty much do these 3 bosses in any order, because we keep going back to the starting point.
Yeah, I do Sentinels, Sinner, and then Gargoyles. That's the order I like to do.
Yep. I think I don't actually remember if I do Sentinels or Gargoyles first, but I always also end with Sinner, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I just copied my boss order from yours when I first learned this.
The 2 first are not super critical. Doing Sinner for last makes a lot of sense in case you took damage, because you have time to heal on the elevator. Or you will have to heal regardless, because you do lose health from the cast as well. Ooh, damn, the no-scope, insane.
So yeah, that's Sentinels.
True, like if you would do, so if you were actually using RTSR for Rune Sentinels, you would need Gargoyles first to have that set up. So that's like the one exception where the order actually matters. Or actually depends. I think no, back then I would do the RTSR setup from Giant Lord, I think, and go straight for Sentinels. Was also an option.
Okay. Monka Shake.
Another nice stutter.
Okay. Well. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So Lucatil is one of those enemies where if you don't get the first parry, things go out of hand very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately that mummy is kind of annoying as well if you want to go straight for her, so otherwise could have just gone back in and do the parries again, but we kind of want to kill this guy.
Alright, come on, Lucatile. Hello. Alright, nice. Because I'll get these souls even though I don't really need them. So there's actually another way of getting to Sinner using the kind of similar strategy that we used to get to Mirror Knight earlier, but I haven't learned that strat, so I'm not going to do it.
So
but yeah.
with ladders, another thing as well is if you grab a ladder while you're already below the lowest point of the ladder, the game loses track of when you're supposed to get off the ladder when climbing downwards. Because normally you would hit the bottom point and that's when you get off. But if you're already below it, that trigger never happens, so you can keep climbing down infinitely. So using a ladder warp in this area, as well as sliding down, you can actually go all the way down to Sinner with the ladder warp. This one is much simpler though as well.
Yeah.
I haven't really learned the other one either, so I don't know the lineup. I just know which ladder it is.
Not a very nice opening from Sinner, but
no. If you're really lucky, you can get one where you get 2 hits in, but you trade usually with the second one. Also, almost a very good fight though, where we're just being passive.
Alright.
Feels
She dodged like two of my hexes. Insane.
But yeah, we're getting close to the end now. Still, two of the more difficult bosses left, and gargoyles in this area, of course. But we're getting there.
Oh no!
So one
That's
fun.
what you have anticipated the quick attack there.
Yeah. So one fun thing about this category as well, and most of the hex-based categories like this, RBO, AA, you spend some time with the setup initially, just getting things going. But when you have the binding boost, you have a lot of damage, everything. It's just a boss rush through the rest of the game. Yeah, this is something you normally wouldn't do in this fight, but we intentionally trigger all the gargoyles we can with scraps here. If he's lucky, some of them will also end up taking extra crowd. That looks like I'm very good. Yeah, I think you completely killed one of them there with scraps, so that's very good. But yeah, trigger all the gargoyles at the same time so we can take them out as quick as possible. That does mean there will be a lot of fire breath, a lot of attacks flying all over the place, but it was a very clean fight.
Yeah, so not many bosses left now.
No.
Just a couple.
Few bosses here and there. Yeah,
So
the only
now
ones
we're gonna
missing
do...
now are Vendrick, Dark Lurker, Frondu, and Chandra.
No. There's you know, Nachka and Freya and all that.
Oh,
as
you're
well.
right. You haven't done the entire Freya segment. I'm super.
Yeah, and
I think I just did in order there.
and Ornstein and Flexile.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, that's and Rotten as well.
It's late here, guys. I'm falling apart. And I gotta do a run after, so let's go. Don't listen to my lies. Or do. Your choice. Yeah, it's only like three bosses left.
Nice.
Yeah, so Vendrick is also one of those fights where you can... It's not a difficult fight, but he does like to jump back a lot, can put you in really awkward positions, and this is a very bad placement. And one hit could potentially kill you in a bad position here, especially the later into the fight it gets, because using the ring you'll always lose a bit of HP every time you cast. Do you do the scrap strats on the... okay. That's a strat I like to do, because doing 2 scraps casts on the overhead here, when he does that swing, okay, showing it off, it goes straight over your head.
That's one of my favorite strats in this run.
Yeah, it's very satisfying.
There we go.
Alright, so that's Vendrick. Only 2 bosses left now. Let's go.
Only 2 bosses to go. Let's go, guys.
We can do it.
It's actually been a pretty clean run so far, I'd say.
Yeah, obviously some difficulties with the lag spikes, especially by start. That was very unfortunate. But, other than that, been going pretty clean. I still like that gargoyle fight was super clean. You usually don't get to kill one fully with the scraps, so.
No instant bow. Feels bad, man.
Feels bad, man. Hey, at least it wasn't 6 soul spears. Yeah, so this damage is also like barely enough with the maxed out stats that you can do tail cut in a single hit here. It's super nice. It's pretty hard to hit both tails because she waves a lot around when you cut the first one. But getting one tail cut is already pretty good for a clean fight. If you manage to hit both tail cuts, you can usually do a fight without her attacking back at all.
Yeah. It's actually a really nice fight when you get both tails.
Yeah, pretty good. Only 2 bosses left now, so we're getting there. So next box coming up here is Rat Authority. This is also one of the bosses that can not necessarily kill a run because you'll usually grab the bonfire right in front, but will be a big time loss if the rats are not behaving.
Yeah, which they usually
Cross
don't.
there. Yeah. Scraps are pretty good though for dealing with the rats, but if you want to have like, if you also wanted to hit the main rats, you have to position yourself pretty good. Which Ollie did.
I dodged the undodgeable
Oh.
charge. Let's go.
Insane. How does he do it? Cat clapped the rats away.
I think that's the best authority fight I've ever had, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's usually a clown fiesta.
So next boss here is Congregation. Also one of the bosses where Scraps is pretty good on, but it has the same issue that it does for if you were to use it for the Wrath Vanguard fight, where it knocks the enemies with more health that don't instantly die from Scraps. It knocks them to the ground, and the enemies are invulnerable until they start getting back up. So it gets it's a bit of a weird dynamic, but being able to hit multiple enemies at the same time still makes it worth.
Yeah. Now time for actually kind of a quirky fight, I guess, on
Yeah.
in this category. Can be really annoying if you get bad RNG.
Yeah, for sure.
Nah.
Yeah, so what you saw there was he locked onto Magus, unfortunately, while he was on the ground, so didn't get to hit the other hollows. Still, not bad. Took 1 hit there, but otherwise fine. Alright, and for the last of the old ones, Freya.
Yeah, and pretty much, which is pretty much the memo for most fights, it can either go very well or very badly.
Yeah. And especially here, the small spiders are the big question mark in this fight. Sometimes some of them just survive, and if you're not paying attention, they just come off screen and
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing
attack you
about
from behind.
Scraps.
Yeah. This fight was actually so bad when you used to not level up Vigor back in the day because we needed like 50 attunement to be able to have enough cash for bosses before we knew attunement glitch. And that one spider, he liked to show off. Let's put it that way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate with the first attack there. And that's one spider you have to hit with GRS, he doesn't die to Scraps. It's just too far away. Or just ignore him if you're a Giga Chad like Ollie. But yeah, the attack you really want, you can really hit Freya's head with the legs there, but the one attack you really want is the laser, because it's very easy to get to the other sides and shoot the other head with body boosting.
Alright,
Gaslighted into killing the spider. I'm just trying to jinx a bit here, Pseudo. We're going so far below estimates. We have to do something. You can't keep getting away with it.
I accidentally warped to the extra peach bonfire, but
oh, there we go. We're doing it. More screen time.
I know we have to find a boost even further to get to the fight. Might even get poisoned as well. Oh.
Or one of the worms. Or all at once. Yeah, so with this amount of damage, it only takes 2 hits to cut off the arm there. This is very nice for having a more comfortable fight. You can still have the other arm in the way, but I feel like the strat Ollie's going for here, he's using scraps early because it does so much damage to a large enemy like Rotten.
Now only 4 bosses left.
Yeah, only 2 bosses left. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these bosses we don't do early just because we don't really have any damage to deal the first time we're here. They don't really get that much souls either, so there's not much reason to do them early. So
there's
instead
literally
we're gonna
no
save them. Yeah.
Literally no reason to do them early on.
Yeah, so save them until we have the max damage after done with the Dragon Link segment, especially. And it's very, very quick. First we have good old Ornstein, but now dark. Ooh. I love Dark Souls 2.
Dark versus dark.
That was a ballsy fight, will work.
Yeah. Dark 1.
I know, right, Pseudo? Like, no faith here.
I'm just gonna rest you. Might as well.
Yep.
Also, I need to remember to equip the bow.
So this is also like one of the places where, yes, we can run very fast through the wharf. But if you were to go up to the bell and ring it, you would actually be too fast to get to the boat after that, like way too fast. So Ollie will be shooting the bell from the bottom. Something you do a lot in the current patch as well, because it's still slightly too fast to get there if you do it from the top. But yeah, it makes a huge difference in this category. But being so fast means you also do not have to care about stuff like this wharf or fancy jumps to save time. It doesn't matter.
Yep. Yeah, and I used to actually just run up all the way to ring the bell manually, but I tried the bow strat and it's just so much nicer.
Yeah. You can shoot the bell from all the way down in the water as well, but then you have to hit it in like 2 shots, and the bell will be invisible. So this is the slightly easier version. Damn, getting shamed by the world record holder here. Insane.
What did he say?
Classic Soul speedrunning community. He does not believe the strats. Yeah, no moon jump, unfortunately. I'm slightly too early on the elevator, but
yeah, I wanted to do it, but
yeah, I saw you went for it, but it just didn't quite work. But yeah, if you hit the elevator on the right time, your character will be bouncing on the elevator all the time down, and will get a super high jump. 8 HP.
Alright, so now it's time for both the coolest and arguably the hardest segment of the run. And that's Dark Lurker.
That has definitely not been jinxed at any point during this stream.
Yeah. So, Stennis, do you want to explain the skip we're about to do?
Yeah, so this is one of the, well, definitely harder skips. Even though Dark Lurker is one of the riskier fights, that's not really what makes this segment scary at least for me. But the skip, it can go like any which way. So we need to use Havel here to do a parry walk. But Havel can do some really nasty attacks, and he can two-hand this weapon, which is pure RNG, and you cannot parry a two-handed Dragon Tooth from Havel.
This is already
So,
Monka. It's fine though.
Yeah. So this is sort of the older version of the strat. You can do it by going straight to Havel and parrying him, but you have to make sure you stand in the right spot. Otherwise, your parry will break randomly later.
This is already kind of Monka.
Yeah. Both strats, honestly, even the newer and this one, are kind of sketchy.
Where did Rickard go? Oh, there he is.
He's doing a little loop.
Alright. So we're just going to bait Havel over here.
Yeah, now Havel looks like he's two-handing. Oh, he broke it. Yeah, okay.
Alright.
So now that Havel is moving, we want to move him over to a spot that we know is in the right area. The dungeons are kind of split into a lot of tiny sub-areas. And depending on where you start the parry walk, you might not be able to reach all the way to the area you want to go to without the parry walk breaking. So here Ali is increasing height just enough that he can jump through this window. After which point we are now out of bounds of the dungeon, but we are very close to Dark Lurker. So through the darkness, Ali's making his way over there.
Yeah.
Wait, you can parry on Scholar of the Person? I didn't know that. Insane. Yeah, so here there are invisible walls all around the Dark Lurker arena. But if you slide over onto the back, you can actually slide into the arena and get back down. Oh, and he got
I hope I can remember where
well.
the... there it is.
Yeah, far back corner. Yeah, so Ali got the best one there. You take a bit of damage that way, but it's super fast. So yeah, even though I usually get very tempted to do 3 casts there, but it's very scary because you don't always know which side the portal for that explosion is on, and if you guess wrong, you probably just get hit. And this laser as well, you have to stand in a pretty specific distance from Dark Lurker, otherwise you have the fizzle memes again, where you aim too far up and the spell...
Ah, my god.
That's unfortunate. Ooh.
Yeah. That was inevitable.
Yeah, it would have actually escaped that melee
You normally
attack
don't.
if you rolled in. So it wasn't the timing; it was just the
He normally
angle.
does.
I don't know.
Normally doesn't split that early, but yeah.
Yeah, it depends.
Shame.
He did kind of slow opening attacks, so I take no responsibility in this.
Oh.
So yeah, that's why that fight can be pretty scary, especially on the split. That fireball hitting is sort of just randomly where he shoots those, honestly. So then you being in the crossfire there was really unlucky.
That was really bad RNG. So
yeah.
But it's okay.
Also, fighting Dark Lurker with Dark, even though the damage is not bad, we used to actually do, way back in the day, we did very early Dark Lurker, but with Faith instead, with Lightning Spear.
Yeah.
Which, even though you have base health, actually wasn't that much worse than this. The skip was way worse. That's why I stopped doing it.
Well,
but,
wasn't it couldn't you just die randomly when you landed when you did the old skip?
Yeah, that as well. Before we found found out how to get into the fight without jumping down to the floor. You could randomly just die to full damage.
Well, at least we get to do
skip this time.
At least we get to do this skip again, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely my favorite skip in Old Patch to do.
Yeah, it's pretty intricate and kind of cool pathing to skip.
Yeah, it's also
unfortunate that the enemies can be pretty annoying here, but
yeah, I think it's also just really fun to do.
Yeah. I probably got my fill from doing this category so much when we randomly died to the full damage, as you said. So I would do this skip like perfectly 5 times and die randomly. So
Don't want to jinx myself, but I don't think I've ever actually died to the skip before.
the new Mytho skip is actually very cool, though. Can kind of meme about the old Mytho skip with 150 jumps, but which is cool in theory, but when you've done it like 50 to 100 times, that's a lot of hitting the F key on your keyboard. Guess this could... okay, that's not the best follow-up. Okay, so it's gonna have to dodge one attack, at least, after the split, since they're still 2 shots away. 3, actually. Ooh, fireball. Yeah, don't test that. Good.
Alright.
Oh, laser was close. Nice though.
So that's now it's
2
just
bosses left.
yeah. Now it is 2 bosses left, and luckily they're both free.
Yeah, this is a nice little thing as well. The King's Gate is pretty slow to open, but since we do the Dark Looker fight right before it, we can actually make use of the bonfire here while we wait to get back our spells and also the health we may have lost during the fight. So yeah, final bosses here are Throne Duel and Nashandra. Throne Duel is usually a pretty difficult fight, but as you'll be able to tell with this damage, it's not much of a duo fight at this point. Wow.
Yeah, wow.
But the only thing here, it's not much risk of dying usually, but it can be a slow fight if the defender chooses to block. That's insane. He didn't even try to block. What the heck? Not in my marathon. So yeah, only Nashandra left now. Can also be a bit RNG on this one. With Hexes, we like to play a bit at a distance. We want preferably the lasers, so we can just step aside and keep casting. But sometimes she doesn't really like to do that and starts walking up to you. Okay, a few more. Oh no, the white laser. Monka shape.
Yep. I'm gonna do a nice little bone out strat here, even though it's slower
Yeah.
RTA.
Yeah, so this saves about 2 seconds RTA no load, but it's probably like a second slower RTA. But that's it. GG Ali.
Yep. Yep, and that is time. So Stennis, do you know what the time was?
I don't have the mainstream open. I can check real quick. A 1:22:23. Below estimate.
Nice.
Let's go.
Let's go, boys. Yeah, so thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you, Stennis, for helping to commentate.
No worries.
And yeah, I'd just like to give a shout out to everyone who's helped organize this event. Yeah, it's been really cool. I'm really excited to watch the event over the next 2 days. Should hopefully be a very fun time.
Yeah, and the old patch fun does not stop here. We're coming straight up with Stairless with me and Nubist right after a short break.
Or renounce this.